Hello and welcome to another video on the small scale sustainable apiary. It's the 31st of May and it's been 12 days since we last went in the hive. Sounds a bit like Alcoholics Anonymous, doesn't it? But we, due to weather and the needs of looking after other colonies and apiaries, we're a little bit behind. So we obviously not sure what we'll find in the hive. Since the last video, I did need to add a 7th super because 6 supers are full of honey, and in the last few days a flow has started. So after the video, I'm going to have a look and see if there's any honey that can be extracted. Got some more empty frames there to go on because it's just getting a bit too tall. So I'll just put my hood up, smoker's going, and we'll make a start. Oh, that's heavy. So I've got that just resting properly on the lid. We'll take the cover board off as we're going to add the rest of the supers. And just try and keep the bees that haven't had the benefit of smoke. Share this. So this frame was a strip of foundation given to the bees 12 days ago, and it's right at the top in the 7th super, so you can see how busy they've been. All the honey so far is looking uncapped. The hive's absolutely teeming with bees. I don't think I've ever seen a colony quite so populous. Wow. Feeling like there's 25 to 30 pounds of honey in each. Take this out of the way until I can put things back. And none of this honey so far is sealed at all, which is a challenge. It's not ripe yet, ready to come off. Interesting, this bottom super isn't quite as heavy as the rest. Okay, so the temper of the bee is pretty good. There's a lot of bees flying about, but there's lots of bees in the hive. You've got some bees that are just orienting and some bees that are returning to the hive. And let's see what we see. Last time there were 10 frames of brood. First thing to check is, are there eggs? And I'm delighted to say that yes, there are. On the first frame in. I don't know if you can get a close up. If I show that into the sun, you can get fairly close to see the eggs in there. So finding eggs in the hive is very encouraging. Suggests that the queen's definitely been there for the last few days. Put that there to give us plenty of room. So then the next thing we're concerned about really is whether the bees are making any preparations to swarm. And at the last inspection there were 2 charged cells. So I'm just going to shut the bees off this frame so I can see properly what's going on. So there's a few bits of drones here at the bottom, but no sign of queen cells. A decent pattern of brood. The bees always leave a few cells open for for the heater bees to heat the brood, and also sometimes just to pop a bit of nectar in near the brood. So happy with that. But again, these bees will be emerging in the next 12 days and they're just going to add to the population. Shake the bees. I've seen eggs and larvae, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. We're just looking now for queen cells. There's a cup here, but there's no egg in it or larvae, so that's perfectly normal. Got plenty of drones. I'll just quickly go through this and see if there's anything else to report. I'm not seeing any signs of disease. You know, the queen kind of doesn't really have too much space to lay, but we're trying to keep this simple. What I would do with another hive is I'd take a frame of brood out and give it to a weaker colony or a nuke. But we're trying to keep this really simple and just keep it to the basics. So we're just going to keep this hive together until it either swarms or I can, after the flow, we'll be doing a split on this, even if it hasn't made any swarm preparations. So it could be that the bees were thinking of swarming 12 days ago, but because of the fantastic flow of honey coming on, they've postponed that. The queenies from last year and first year queens technically shouldn't swarm, but this is pretty exceptional to have so many bees. Okay, I'm still seeing a little bit of sac brood, a little Chinese slipper, but not enough to be particularly concerned about. Bees usually shake this off as the season goes. the bees aren't particularly bothered about me being here, which is great. We don't need to find the queen because we've got no queen cells and eggs, so she must be here. A few more play cups, we'll just check if they're at all charged or eggs in. Eggs usually indicate that they're thinking about swarming, but it doesn't mean that they're definitely going to be swarming. This frame here is our drone brood. Shut the bees off in a minute. Make sure the queen's not on there first. So again, you can see the raised drone brood. It's only 1 millimetre bigger than the worker brood, but it does seem quite a lot different, quite a lot bigger, but it isn't that much. And we've got a drone looking to come out of his cell. There's a little bit of some of these cells are being nibbled at by the bees, which might indicate the presence of they're detecting varroa below the cells, or possibly sickness in the drones. There's a drone. There's a cell there with a drone in that looks like the drone's had. So it's the bees getting in the way. At the tip of the tool, looks like that's had sac brood. So yeah, the bees are sort of like slightly uncapping the cells. The difference between when you're looking at comb, it's when you see. Sometimes you can look at comb and think it looks perfectly healthy, but when you see cells like that one there, that's got a jagged off-centre edge to it, then that's an indication that the bees have been opening that. And then if I just open the cell, can't even get into it. Again, you can see the larvae in there has got sac brood, so the bees can tell. You know, in some respects, it's a good indicator that the bees are noticing these things and dealing with it. There's another cell here, and the only real, I mean, that actually looks like it might be developing okay. Maybe not. No, not. But sometimes you'll see a fairly even opening of a cell, and that's often indication that the bees are just sealing that. The only cure for a lot of these diseases you might find is to replace the queen. But you know, in this particular case, the hive is thriving so much that the bees are clearly keeping pace with any issues that they have. I'd be more concerned if this was a hive that was not thriving as well as this one. So if the colony wasn't growing, I would probably want to requeen. But as it is, they're thriving. Fantastic. So I have to say, given the size of this colony, I was half expecting it to be making some attempts to swarm. But I'm pleasantly pleased to see that it's not. So I'm just going to close this off for today. I'm going to add an 8th super, and I'll see you in a week or so. Thank you very much.